to receive 2 free bottles of Prevagen when you buy 4. That's right, buy 4 and get an additional 2 bottles absolutely free. And by mentioning this program, you'll also receive free shipping and processing. So this is a fantastic offer. Now again, the number to call, 888-974-9745. 888-974-9745. Also, for everyone who orders today, you'll get a free copy of the Brain Health Guide. The Brain Health Guide will help you understand the latest new tips to improve your memory. And the Brain Health Guide contains the latest research and discoveries to help the health of your brain and is free with an order of Prevagen today. This offer is not available anywhere else. You'll also get free shipping. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 888-974-9745. That number to call, 888-974-9745.
You've been listening to The Brain Health Show. This program is a paid advertisement for Prevagen, sponsored by Quincy Bioscience. The statements made in today's program have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
We all share a common journey. We wanted to serve our country, stand for something bigger than ourselves, and protect the things we love. Although we were ready to face any mission, help those in need, and make a difference, for some of us, coming home was more of a challenge than we expected. In the service, we had each other's backs. But as veterans, it can sometimes feel like we're all alone, even when surrounded by our loved ones.
If you're a veteran or service member in crisis or know one who is, call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Chat at veteranscrisisline.net or text 838-255.
Talk 1470 WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This neighborhood sure has changed in my lifetime. You know, there was a time when people like me couldn't live here because of their race or the color of their skin. I'll never forget how I felt being told I wasn't welcome in this neighborhood, that this apartment was for whites only. That got better over time, but some people still didn't get equal treatment when it came to finding a home. Well, I own this building now. The Fair Housing Act made a difference for someone like me. It gives us the opportunity to live in communities of our choice, free from discrimination. The Fair Housing Act makes it illegal to discriminate in the renting or selling of a home because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, or disability.
If you believe you have experienced housing discrimination, contact HUD at 1-800-669-9777 or go to www.hud.gov/fairhousing.
Listen Sundays at noon for Be a Catholic with topics like the high horse of morality, Catholicism, on AM 1470 WNN.
What you want to know. What you need to know.
Talk 1470 WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Schub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
And welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub. And tonight, like we always do at this time, we're going to talk some golf, we'll talk some travel, and we'll have some guests who really know what's going on out there, both in golf and travel. And, of course, we'll also maybe have some of my special deals and a golf tip. And, you know, our guests tonight are really some of my favorite people, at least. One is a returning guest, and that would be Susan Barnes, and she's also known as Traveling Girl. She writes for many different websites on travel, as well as some magazines, and she gets to travel the world and tell everybody about it and does a good job doing it. And I believe tonight she's going to be talking about some of her recent trips to Maui and to Death Valley. So that's an interesting contrast. And also we'll be talking to a friend of mine, and that would be Mike Falconer. He's the director of sales and marketing for Le Meridian of Tampa, a place that I recently stayed at. Very, very cool place. It's a more than 100-year-old building that used to be a federal courthouse that they turned into this beautiful hotel. And Tampa's a fun town to be staying in. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that from Mike in just a few minutes. And but first, what I always like to do at this time is introduce you to my co-host, that guy who's sitting right next to me. That would be none other than Jess Frank, the PGA teaching professional and owner of the Jess Frank Golf Academy at Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club right here in beautiful Boca Raton. Jess specializes in on-course instruction with V1 video analysis. He believes every lesson in swing is different. Jess likes to focus on the scoring part of your game, those short shots taught right there on the golf course, which will instill plenty of confidence for you. Some of you might know him from his work at area country clubs such as St. Andrews, Boca Lago, and Broken Sound. Jess loves to teach, has a passion for the game because, in case you didn't notice, golf could be a little bit challenging, but Jess makes it easy for you to learn and to excel. And how are you doing tonight, Jess?
I am excellent, Dan, and good evening to you, and good evening to all our listeners out there. Another wonderful show planned for all of our listeners across the globe. And, just another wonderful day here in sunny South Florida. Got a little bit of rain, but not too bad at all. And I know there's a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, we need the rain to keep the grass out there green.
Yes, we do. It plays havoc with some superintendents on the golf courses, because we get so much at once.
They want it to rain just at night.
Yeah, exactly. They of course it rained, right before everybody wanted to go out at 7:00 in the morning. So, things get a little messy, but we have some good staff over there at Boca Dunes, so they did a good job.
And unfortunately, it also rained a little bit at the Honda.
Yes, it did. And I'm not sure if they finished, if everyone finished, but I know the number one player in the world missed the cut. So it's a tough game, no matter what level you're at, and it's pretty. It just goes to show you.
It's also embarrassing because he lives in the area now, too, so it's the hometown crowd kind of,
He hadn't played for about 3 weeks. I'm sure Rory McIlroy is at home relaxing and getting ready for his next tournament, but it just goes to show you how challenging the game can be, even for the best players in the world. And, there was an interesting stat that said that Rory McIlroy has missed more cuts in his short career. He's only 25 or 26 than Tiger has missed in his whole career, and Tiger is almost 40 or is 40.
Well, I can relate that to sales when I talk to some of the salespeople. It doesn't matter how much you lose. It only matters how much you win.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's won quite a lot. So as long as it doesn't mess up his head, which he's pretty good at that, he knows how to kind of compartmentalize and, separate the bad from the good and focus on what he needs to focus on.
Yeah, what was really interesting about Rory and what he said is that he is not a good wind player, which is shocking because he's from Ireland. And you have to be a good wind player down here in South Florida, especially this time of year. And, if you can't flight your golf ball, which is shocking to me that the best player in the world is having trouble at that, you're going to be in a world of hurt, especially at a tough golf course like PGA National Champ course.
Bear trap will take you down, especially in the wind. I know.
Will.
I've been there. I've done that. It's tough.
It is. And in fact, tonight I have my special tip tonight is going to help you actually play better through the wind. So when we get
the only tip I have is I always remember they say when it's breezy, swing easy. That's all I got. But that's why I'm not a teaching pro.
Yeah, but actually that's not a bad tip. And most people would do
the
well.
Opposite. When it's windy, you try and kill the ball to kind of get it to go through the wind.
Exactly.
I guess, right?
And the worst thing you can do is try to swing harder. You're better off taking more club. Let's say instead of an 8-iron, take a 6-iron. Swing easier because it keeps the ball lower, and also it keeps the spin off the ball. What the wind plays havoc with is the spin and how much if you try to overswing and even downwind and into the wind. Actually, downwind can be worse too because you can't. It's harder to control your ball downwind than it is into the wind, but. It's something that as a player down here, I played down here for quite some time. Is that you got to learn how to flight your ball. You got to learn how to manage the wind, And, so that's what we're...
So those are like bonus tips there, right?
Yeah,
and we're going to get into the tip of the week in a minute, but I wanted to talk quickly about this other golf-related story because I think we have a minute or two. And
sure.
My office is right across the street from PGA National.
Right.
And not too far up the road, there's a couple other beautiful golf courses, and a lot of the pros live in the area.
Yes, they do.
And there was this story about Michael Jordan, who plays at the Bear Club, which obviously is a beautiful club.
Oh, yes.
And he's just not happy.
It's amazing to me.
I know. I mean, you go out, I've been to the Bear Club, and you hardly see...
Yeah, there's nobody playing.
Yeah. So he's almost got the place to himself.
Yes.
But when him and his friends come, they make a bit of a racket, and they kind of take the place over, and some of the members are probably not all that happy all the time.
Sure.
They're not happy that he built a house that's 3 times bigger than anybody else's house. And he doesn't want to deal with any of that. So what's he going to do?
Yeah, he builds his own course. Why not?
That's exactly what he wants to do. It
exactly.
seems that he's purchased some land in Hope Sound, which is right near the Medalist where Tiger plays. Greg Norman designed this golf course there, and he plays there as well. A lot of the other pros practice over there. It's a beautiful area. And he just might build his own golf course.
Yeah, why not? If you're Michael Jordan and you've got a few $100 million or you're worth $1 billion, I mean, it's play money to him. But I think he's going to be in for a nice awakening when he figures out what it actually takes to run a golf course. Especially, he thinks that.
You think he's going to be working at the counter?
He might be taking tee times.
He may have to, yeah. He may have to. But and from what I heard, that the piece of land he has just no character to it whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of work to be done to make it into a decent golf course.
I mean, Donald Trump moved tons of dirt at Trump National Palm Beach, and so it's possible. I mean, that's it. Everything can be solved with money. Especially in the golf industry.
But they won't buy happess, though.
No, it won't buy happiness, but it sure
almost
buy
everything else.
Golf course.
Yeah. Everything else.
They'll buy everything else, but it's as Michael Jordan, he does everything pretty much first class. I'm sure he'll make a nice little facility for himself and his buddies.
Maybe if we invite him on the show, he'll invite us to play his golf course.
Hey, you know what? If you can get some promotion, why not, right?
We'll have to start working on that. Yeah. It'll take him a couple of years probably till he's ready with the golf course.
Or maybe he needs a new director of instruction up there. You never know.
Oh, I like the way you're thinking. And speaking of the way you're thinking,
yes.
I know you're thinking of something that can help the listeners for this week. There's got to be something. So what is it that you got?
Well, it's a tip that I use, and actually it's a philosophy that I use with a lot of my students. In fact, today it worked really well with the gentleman who was, we've gotten his full swing going really well, and his short game and his ball control, and I should say more face control and golf club shaft control on his short game was lacking. And so I work on this a lot with my juniors, a lot with my new students, and it's just, knowing where the golf club is during your swing is just so important. And it just, for people who've played a long time, it comes a lot more natural to them. Somebody who's played since they were juniors and are decent players and good ball strikers. But what happens is that most people do not know where the club head is and the club shaft is during their golf swing. And so I have 3 positions that you can allow the club shaft to swing to, and I like to use them on the through swing. So there's shaft position number 1 is when the golf club shaft is pointing to the ground just after impact, okay, or a foot or 2 feet past the ball. It's still pointing to impact. Okay, what this does is this eliminates that flipping motion or scooping under the ball where the club face gets really open and pointed to the right. And that's a troublesome shot for somebody who's not striking the ball well in their short game. That is probably one of the best ways to go about getting better quickly. And so by the end of the short time that I was working with this gentleman this morning, he actually chipped 2 in right in a row, which is pretty impressive, and definitely got a high five out of that. Because what had happened was his club face went from sliding underneath the ball with an open face and the shaft leaning backwards and a real weak shot. Like he was having trouble reaching the green from about 10 yards off the green. And so it becomes almost like that shot becomes where you slide the face under. It's almost like a flop shot. It's very weak and kind of sits down real quick. But what we needed to do is we needed to get him a little more shaft lean, a little more compression, And so by just having him swing through the ball and turn his body a little bit, pivot a little bit, and keep the shaft pointed at the ground, the next thing you know, he was compressing the ball first and then taking the divot after the ball. And so this was really, really a good way for him to make better impact and just hit a stronger shot. And so we just worked on that for a while, where we just took little chip swings back and forth, and you can move your body. One of the worst tips that people can hear is keeping your head down, because when they keep their head down, it adds a lot of tension in their game. It makes their body stop. So if their body stops, what's going to go in the golf swing is the club head, because the club wants to go around your body. So it's very difficult to keep your head down and keep the club shaft moving correctly. And so if you pivot correctly, if you allow your body to turn correctly and pivot correctly, you can keep the shaft down. It's a lot easier to do that when you're pivoting and the weight's transferring a little bit to your front foot. So we did that for a while. Then the second position that you can point the shaft to is at the target. So position 1 is pointing the shaft at the ground. Position 2 is pointing the shaft towards the target. And this is great for wind shots. Position 1 and 2 are terrific for wind shots, because when you cut your finish off, you're gonna de-loft the club face and you're gonna keep the ball lower. So that's an excellent way to play through the wind. And if I was telling Rory, that's what I would have him do. I'd have him, hit shots with a follow through that the shaft points to the ground.
Piss off,
yeah,
something like that.
Well, I don't know. It might help him actually on his wind game. If
he's probably pretty angry today.
If he rates himself only a 6 out of 10 on a wind game, he's number 1 in the world. No wonder he missed the cut. So that's number 1. You want to keep the shaft down. That's number 1. Shaft pointed to the target is number 2. That's definitely going to help your club. You can also start to control your club face that way, so you can see if it's closed too much or open too much. Then number 3 is pointing the shaft to the sky or finishing around your neck for your finish position, and that's the most of the full swing. So if you're teaching a junior golfer, if you're having problems with your ball striking, working on position 1, which keeps a flat left wrist, a bent right wrist, that actually keeps the shaft pointed at the ground. Position 2 pointed to the target, and then position 3, around the finish. So if you can learn those 3 positions and just start striking the ball a little bit better, I know that could be a huge benefit to most listeners.
Position 4 is when I hit my thigh, when I take too big of a swing, and I wonder, where did that bruise come from?
That's the John Daly swing.
There you go. Yeah. All right, well, there's your tip, your free tip, and hopefully everybody will benefit from it, but you'll benefit much more by getting a lesson with this guy, because that's the way to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show. Stay tuned. And we are back, and it's time for a message from your favorite sponsor, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. A place where I spend pretty much every day of my life lately and that's the beautiful Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club, where it's a great place to play, located in Boca Raton with a par 72 championship course and a par 3 executive course. Something for all skill levels. There's also a lighted driving range with practice areas and a snack shop open till 10 p.m. It's a great place to host a charity event or a golf outing, and in fact, they have a ladies' night out coming up on March 20th, so please take advantage of that. And with a full-service catering facility with all banquet rooms overlooking the golf course, it's a perfect place for weddings, bar mitzvahs, anniversary parties, and any other catered events you may need. If you're looking to get into the game of golf, there's also several teaching pros available for private or group lessons. Their friendly staff invites you to come see for yourself, so call the Pro Shop at 561-451-1600. That's 561-451-1600, extension 102. For information and tee times, you can visit their website at bocadunes.com. That's bocadunes.com.
And we are back. And, they better go a little bit faster at that Honda, I think, if they want to get it in at least over the weekend. But we spoke a little bit about that, so I want to usually we talk about some of my deals or interesting places to go or things to do in Florida or anywhere in the world, actually. And we have our guest coming up a little bit later. We're going to be talking, of course, to Susan Barnes, also known as Traveling Girl, and Mike Falconer a little bit later on in the show. But I do have a few cool things that I wanted everybody to know about. And the first thing, it was just announced in the past day or two, and it's a music cruise. It's a concert cruise, and these cruises have become extremely popular for all different kinds of music. And this particular one happens to be the music that I grew up with in the 60s. And you know what they say, if you remember it, then you probably didn't live it. But I do have a few vague memories of the 60s and some of these bands that I grew up on. And to be able to go on a cruise and to hear so many good acts and so many, wonderful singers and bands, it's a very, very cool thing to do. But these things sell out incredibly quickly. They're not inexpensive, but they sell out like fast. So if anybody else likes the music like I like, and I'm going to let you know some of these acts that will be on this particular cruise. It's called the Flower Power Cruise. And it will include performances by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and they have Bo Bice fronting them and singing with them. Felix Cavalieri's Rascals. He was the lead singer for many of those big hits from the Rascals back in the day. Mickey Dolenz, one of the lead singers from the Monkees. The Grassroots, the Guess Who, Herman's Hermits featuring Peter Noone, who was their original singer, or also called Herman. Jefferson Starship, which of course followed in the footsteps of Jefferson Airplane, and I believe Marty Ballin is the lone original member from Jefferson Airplane who is still with Jefferson Starship. Mark Lindsay, who was the lead singer and sang on all the hits for Paul Revere and the Raiders. Unfortunately, Paul Revere, recently we lost him, but Mark Lindsay is still out there singing, and he's the voice that you'd recognize. And one of my favorite bands, the Turtles, which feature Flo and Eddie, and those guys are just a riot. Not only great music, but very, very funny as well. So that's quite a lineup. And even though they just announced it, it's going to be sailing not until next year, February 29th through March 5th. It does leave out of Miami, I believe, and it is on the Celebrity Constellation. I have cruised on Celebrity. It's an upscale, very, very good cruise line. Prices start at $1,299 a person for an inside cabin, but many of them are already sold out. And it does, if you would like, for instance, something with an ocean view, it's $1,700 it starts at, and if you want a veranda, it's $1,900. So it is not cheap. So I don't know if I could call it one of my deals. It's not such a great deal, but if you like good music and if you like the music of the 60s, and if you forgot it and you want to try and remember it again,
that'd be an interesting trip.
Then what a long, strange trip it might be, I think is what it amounts to. So for more information, you could give them a call. Their number is 844-700-3569, or just Google the Flower Power Cruise, and I'm sure you'll find all that information there. So I don't know. I would do it if somebody would like to take me. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a contest. What listener wants to bring Dan to go to the Flower Power Cruise? But also, we do like to talk about a lot of the festivals that are all around Florida or anywhere else in the country, because I think it's very cool to be able to travel to some location and get to hear some really cool music. And, of course, the folks that are listening to us locally here in South Florida, they don't need to travel very far, because this particular event is the 17th annual Coral Gables Blues Fest. And it takes place right there in downtown Coral Gables. It's sponsored by the beer house, the Fritz and Franz Beer House, which is at 60 Merrick Way, and outdoors on the plaza is where they have this going on. And what's really cool about this particular festival, it takes place from Thursday through Sunday, and we're talking March 12th to the 15th, but it's free. You don't have to pay anything, and they've got a ton of great bands. Most of them are local. Some of them are from out of town as well. People like J.P. Soares and the Red Hots, David Shelley and Bluestone, Joey Gilmore Blues Bands, Biscuit Miller and The Mix, Randy McAllister, the South Florida All-Stars, of course, who you can't have a festival without them. But so most of these are the kinds of bands that you might see in a bar. Locally, you probably have to pay, an admission at the door to get in to see them, and now you can see all of these bands and pay nothing. So it's very, very cool. And Coral Gables is just a neat town.
And anything you can pair up with music, beers, and food. I mean, why not, right?
Exactly. And
it's fun. Sounds like a fun
and there is
time.
some good golf there too. I mean, the Biltmore, right?
There you go.
I mean,
that'll work.
A little nice
Coral
place.
Gables,
so anybody from out of town who would like to come down, stay at the Biltmore. I mean, talk about a historic building and golf course. So maybe you combine a little bit of both, and you got yourself a nice long weekend there.
Absolutely.
So for more information, you could go to Bierhaus Blues. That's BIERHAUS blues.com, and they'll give you all that lineup, and you can find out a little bit more about it. Like I say, you may find me down there. You never know. Also, speaking of Miami area festivals, this music is a little bit different, and you might like it. This is Jazz in the Gardens. So if you're more a fan of the jazz than the blues, they do this every year. I believe that it takes place at Dolphin Stadium where the Dolphins play. So you may want to check into this. Acts such as Maxwell, R. Kelly, Run DMC, Tony Braxton, Peebo Bryson and Freddie Jackson, just some great acts. Yeah, it's Sun Life Stadium. This is March 21st and 22nd. JazzInTheGardens.com is where you can get the whole lineup. Hosted by D.L. Hughley. He's pretty funny, and Ricky Smiley as well. So you'll have a lot of fun if you go. I do recommend it. I've known people who've gone to the ones in the past, and they've had a great time. So I do recommend that. Now, for those of you who would rather, or if you're local to us at least, and you'd rather get out of town, and if you're listening, we have a lot of listeners up north where the weather has been a bit on the chilly side. You might be dreaming about getting away to Mexico right about now.
You go.
And here's an event that it does not take place right now. You're going to have to wait. It is the weekend of May 1st through 3rd, and it is a tournament in Cozumel, Mexico, on the Nicholas Design Cozumel Country Club. And they've been doing this for 7 years. It's the International Cozumel Island Golf Tournament, a weekend of golf-related activities at the Presidente Intercontinental Cozumel Resort and Spa. That's a mouthful. I wonder if that's their website. I'd hate to have to type all that in. But you do have to have a handicap from your club to be able to get into the event. They've got men's and A and B divisions as well as a ladies division. So you can compete against people with similar golfing ability to yourself, which is always nice. And you get all sorts of neat things, a welcome kit. You get your green fees and cart fees and beverages, and there are some contests that will be going on. And the package is reasonably priced for a couple of days hotel and golf at $535 for one golfer. And if you're going to that's if you're sharing a room. If you're a non-golfer, it's $555. And I don't know. This is kind of confusing. I think you should go to their website and figure the rest out.
You don't really need an excuse to go to Cozumel. Come on.
You don't. If you want to add additional nights without the golf, it's $179 because they do have other things like deep sea fishing. You can swim with the dolphins.
It's wonderful there.
You can do all sorts of stuff. And very cool. To find out more information, go to the website, Presidente Cozumel. Do I have to spell that? I don't think so. You can figure that out. .com and click on the golf menu and you will find out more about it. And one last interesting trip I came about, and this one, interestingly enough, you got to, I think, add on to it if you want to play golf, because this is not to play golf, this is to watch golf. And if you like the kind of weather that we had today while you're watching your golf tournament, then you could probably get the same kind of weather if you head over to the British Open, which, or as they call the Open Championship, and they have packages available through Scepter Tours, and we've spoken to some people from there before, I believe.
We have.
So they are friends of the show, so that's why I want to let everybody know about it. You get tickets, we're talking July 18th and 19th, 2-day tickets to see the Open Championship. You get accommodations at the Doubletree by Hilton in Dundee, and it includes 5 nights that you'll be staying there and really experiencing, and this is St. Andrews we're talking this year, so not an easy place to get on and play.
No.
However, if you do want to just go there and watch, you can do that. So I think it's pretty cool. Cool trip, and like I say, you get the passes, you get the parking passes, you get breakfast every day, all service charges, all gratuities. It just sounds like a very, very cool thing. I think the only thing that's not included in the package perhaps is the air, and that you got to tell them what it is.
And I'm gonna make a bold prediction here because I believe Tiger Woods will win his 15th major there this year.
Really?
I believe so, because it's a course that he's comfortable with and familiar, and if he can somewhat get his game back a little bit, he definitely has the chance to win.
So, okay. Do you also believe that he's going to be playing in this year's Masters?
I do believe that. Yes, I do. I think he's gearing his game up for the majors.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's going to win the Masters, but I think he's got a better chance at the British Open, I think, especially at St. Andrews, because if you can hit